Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Everest build. This part here, it's going to be going on the secondary clutch, getting her freed up. It was stuck. Got her good now, but yeah. So here we go. Okay, got an issue here with the clutch. My dog coming to help too. She's stuck. Won't open or close really. I've got it to move a little bit, as you can see from the gap in the buttons, or sliders, whatever you want to call them. That was by taking a punch and hitting it here, because that's a great thing to do on aluminum, is beat it with a hammer. Nothing could possibly go wrong. It's moved a little bit. You can see the shaft in there is all rusted up, so that's why it won't, it won't move. And this is still the older style kind of chain case setup where there is no jack shaft that runs across, and usually the chain case is here and you get your clutches here. Like on anything, again, I'll go with modern. Yeah. I don't really want to have to pull the cover off, which I probably should, but I don't want to. So I'll probably end up taking it apart on the sled, which is kind of fun. Not really. You gotta take off a snap ring, use a gear puller and pull that off, because it's not going to slide off. Beat the roll pin out in there, and then you can pull this whole other piece off. But you at the same time, when you put it back on, you gotta turn it backwards, or turn it backwards this way to wind spring tension and put it on, and get the roll pin in on the lined up, and it's a fun time. But yeah, I'll probably end up doing that way, because I don't want to take that off. Again, I probably should, because it's probably full of water and the bearings are probably all rusty, but whatever. Okay, so I started getting the secondary clutch apart here. Like I figured that bearing support had to be pulled off the gear puller, and I've had to pull this most of the way out the gear puller. I've got to the point where I can wiggle it now, but there's still tension on the spring trying to push it off, but it's stuck on there a little bit. I can wiggle it off, but I stopped here just to kind of, also to make this is kind of a reference for me, and also for anyone else trying to put one of these together. When you're taking this apart, you gotta watch on the end of your spring where it hooks down into your clutch. There's multiple holes you can put them in, and I've got this one marked here. Put a scratch mark on it so I know. And you gotta watch. When you take it apart too, you gotta watch that this is gonna want to spin this way because of a torsional tension on the spring. I've got it set right now where there's none. It's just loose. But this one about where it was, because I can tell from the roll pin anyway where the roll pin lines up again. It's back about like this, so it actually puts this clutch slider here, because they're always, on all of them, there's always tension, spring tension, always trying to, since this is fixed to the shaft, it's trying to turn this against your slider all the time. And put in different holes, it makes different amount of tension, which affects how this upshifts and downshifts as you're going, which changes your engine RPM and all that stuff. That and the weights and your rollers in your primary, it's a lot to it. But yeah, so wiggle that off and finish getting this freed up, get that off, and get the shaft all polished up, and go from there. Let me tell you, this thing is giving me a fight. She's stuck on there pretty good. I've heated it with the MAP gas torch there a bit, and I've got it to the point where I can wiggle it back and forth, but I'm getting no movement that way. So I think I'm gonna give her another spray of some PB Blaster and let her set for a while and try her again. Good idea, buddy? He doesn't know. So I finally got these the clutch freed up. It took a lot of heating and soaking and penetrating oil and a lot of wiggling back and forth, but I finally got her off. I can't pull her. I got her freed up. I can't take it off all the way because it hits right there. It's very close. I could loosen off the chain case mounting bolts and just rock pull chain case forward a bit to get it off, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to reach into some memory cloth and clean the rust off. And even before I clean the rust off, I mean, not that bad, but I'll clean it up anyway. Make her a little better. I probably maybe should have just taken the whole clutch off, which involves taking the, but I didn't really want to because that involves taking the chain case cover off, the top nut and the bearing and all that stuff, and then you can slide the whole clutch out, and you can take the brake all off too. And I just didn't really want to do that. So yeah, I mean, I did melt the bushing a little bit heating it, but not really wobbly, so it'll be all right, or at least good enough for now. Okay, clutch is all back together now, and moving much better. These clutches need to be have a belt in it and enough tension on it that it's actually holding them open a little bit, I find, because when they're closed all the way, the insides of the rivets sit together. It won't actually open, but if you pull it out just a hair, it will open all the way, and it is, you know, springing back against the sliders like it's supposed to. Feels like it might be a little light, but I mean, I'm just going by feel by hand. I'll see how it works once I get the sweat all together and get it working. If it seems a little too doggy and keeping the RPMs down too well, I'll just put a little more tension on the spring and go from there.